this laptop is not a gaming laptop. It's the Acer Swift Go 16, a nice little entry-level consumer-friendly laptop that I bought from Micro Center for $375. And while it does have some great features for the price, the most interesting part is the CPU, the Intel Core Ultra 5 125H. And for those of you in the know, you might remember that CPU being the little brother of a similar CPU that can be found inside a gaming handheld, the MSI Claw. Meaning we have access to an Arc iGPU inside this machine. But how much gaming can we expect from a simple Intel chip? Well, let's find out right after this quick word from the sponsor of this video, OBSBot. This is the OBSBot Tiny SE. This compact and lightweight webcam weighs less than 100 grams and is designed for anyone who values clarity and ease in their virtual communications. It not only looks sleek, but also delivers exceptional performance. Imagine connecting with colleagues or friends and being seen in stunning detail with ultra-high resolution capabilities. The OBSBot Tiny SE offers crystal clear visuals at up to 1080p at 100 frames per second, or 720p at 120 frames per second. Whether you're in a brightly lit office or a cozy corner at home, its large half-inch sensor ensures that you look your best, even in low-light conditions. The Tiny SE takes user-friendliness to another level with its AI auto-framing technology. Whether you're sitting alone or presenting with a group, the webcam automatically adjusts to keep you perfectly centered. This means you can move around naturally without the distraction of adjusting your camera. Perfect for dynamic presentations or engaging conversations. The gesture controls make using the webcam a total hands-free experience. With just a simple wave of your hand, you can zoom in and out, as well as turn on and off motion tracking. Great for when you're presenting in a meeting and don't want to constantly go back and forth to your computer. And for those looking to enhance their streaming experience, the OBSBot Center app makes customization a snap. You can easily adjust image settings and manage multiple devices from a single interface. Whether you're a content creator, a remote worker, or simply connecting with family and friends, this app puts you in full control. So if you're ready to elevate your virtual experience, OBSBot is having their spring sale on March 25th, where you can use the code OBSBOT2025 to get up to 20% off the Tiny SE using the link in the video description. And thanks again to OBSBot for sponsoring this video. Now, a quick disclaimer. Acer did not sponsor this video, and they did not send me this laptop. I bought it myself, so they have no say in the video. And while I got this for only $375 about 2 months ago, I can't seem to find this laptop anywhere on the internet anymore. So it's possible that that was a closeout price for this model and maybe it's discontinued. And while this video is mostly focusing on the gaming performance of the chip inside, I'm going to go over some quick specs of the laptop just so you know what we're working with. So this is the Acer Swift Go 16. It's got a 16-inch IPS LED backlit multi-touch display, which is quite surprising at this price point. It's a thin and light laptop weighing just 1.5 kg, with the aluminum body being only 15 millimeters thick. It passes that weird one-finger open test with flying colors, has a nice large trackpad, although it is made of plastic, and it has one of those cool hinges that props the laptop up to allow more airflow on the bottom when in use. On the right side, we've got a Kensington lock, USB-A 3.2, headphone mic combo, and a microSD card reader. And on the left, we've got two Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports with power delivery, a full-size HDMI, and another USB-A. And yes, these are Thunderbolt ports, meaning you can easily plug in your favorite eGPU and get some serious gaming done on a desktop monitor, but that's not what this video is about. The laptop comes with 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM and half a terabyte of super fast PCIe 4 NVMe storage. And while the storage is upgradable, the RAM is not. But the most important part of this laptop is that Intel Core Ultra 5 125H. It's a 14-core, 18-thread CPU, so it's a surprisingly pretty good productivity chip to be using in an everyday laptop. It even boosts to 4.5 gigahertz. But what we really care about is that this thing comes with an Intel Arc integrated GPU, meaning we can actually play some games on it. MSI released their gaming handheld last year, the MSI Claw, and they originally released it with two similar chips, the 135H and the 155H, both of which will definitely outperform the 125H here. And I'm sure you're thinking, didn't the MSI Claw kind of suck? Well, yes and no. The initial launch of the device was kind of plagued with underwhelming performance and a high price tag. But after a lot of driver updates, it seems like those original Claw devices have some pretty comparable performance to their AMD counterparts these days. So while this thing won't game as well as those, it's less than $400, and arguably this isn't advertised as a gaming device. It's just a great, cheap laptop for work or school, but hey, if you wanted to get in a few games of Fortnite between classes, why not? And while there will be some variants of other devices running this exact same chip, mostly due to power limitations and cooling, we can get kind of a good idea of what kind of performance we can expect on the CPU in just about any device. And just a heads up, this chip isn't going to compare to a dedicated graphics card. Not even close. This is a thin and light budget device. The results I'll be showing you are going to be a best case scenario at 1080p or 720p. So if that means utilizing some upscaling or other weird settings for a better overall user experience, then so be it. Let's start the testing with an easy game, Valorant. This game is very famous for being able to run on just about any machine these days, and that is no exception here. At 1080p resolution and all the settings to low, we were still able to average 220 FPS with 1% lows of 115. But frankly, I don't think people are going to be plugging their laptop into a high refresh rate monitor, so realistically you can afford to turn up the graphical settings just a bit, especially if you're just playing on the 60Hz refresh rate laptop monitor. Let's proceed to a game that is very difficult to run, Cyberpunk 2077. Now if you're okay with a last gen console experience, you can play this game at 1080p and it'd be okay, but for me, 900p or lower were really the overall better experience. So at 720p with the settings to low, I averaged about 47 FPS with 1% lows of about 40. So we weren't able to hit that 60 FPS threshold, but if you're playing on a budget device like this, I think this is actually pretty playable. Not amazing, but playable. Next up is an esports game, but it is surprisingly difficult to run, the Finals. I played around with the settings a bit, and even switching it to 720p didn't really save us much FPS, so I just kept it at 1080p for the entirety of my testing. And at that resolution, with settings to low and lighting set to static, I averaged 42 FPS with 1% lows of 18. Not a great way to play the game, but I got through a few rounds and even managed to perform well on my team. So don't play like this if you're trying to get sweaty and play ranked, but for a few matches in between classes, I think it's totally fine. Fortnite is not a great game to benchmark because the game is just really poorly optimized and is really CPU heavy, but it's worth giving it a shot. I was able to get the game to run at some high frame rates for sure at 1080p, even as high as the 120s, but the 1% lows were always hanging around the low double digits. And if it was me, this would be fine as the stuttering didn't cause me to miss shots or anything, but ultimately I turned the settings down for a more stable experience. At 720p in performance mode and VSync on, I got the average FPS to hang around that 60 FPS refresh rate level, and then the 1% lows caught up to about 34. So again, not the best experience, but after playing a few games, this was the most reliable way to play in my opinion. Marvel Rivals is the newest game on this testing run, coming out only just 3 months ago at the time of posting this video. And it actually has some amazing graphics for an esports type game. I messed around with the settings for a bit, but found that running the game at 720p, settings to low, and XESS to balanced was the only way I could get something I would consider playable. And with those settings, I averaged about 45 FPS with 1% lows of 23. So again, not the best experience out there and certainly not competitive, but it's totally playable. Risk of Rain 2 is an easier game to run, but it's still a blast to play, of course. The settings are kind of all over the place, so I just left stuff on high at 1080p resolution and was able to get a respectable 85 FPS with 1% lows of 62. The game ran like a dream and would totally be the type of game I'd be playing on if I wanted to daily drive the CPU. Hitman is another AAA game that isn't really optimized for this kind of device, but we will give it our best shot. Tons of particle effects will make this game slow down a bit during the benchmark, but we could probably see better performance in-game due to its slow-paced nature. And at 720p with all the settings to low, we averaged 72 FPS with 1% lows of 40. And frankly, that's the worst it's going to get since the benchmark is pretty intensive, so I'd call that totally playable. We might even be able to get away with turning it to 1080p depending on what your tolerance level is. Resident Evil 4 Remake was an interesting one to run. I left the random settings to either mid or high, but brought the textures down to high 1 gig. And at 720p resolution, I was able to average about 38 FPS with 1% lows of 27. So again, not the best way to experience this AAA game, but if it were me and I really wanted to play this game and had no other way to play it, this would be passable and playable. And rounding out our tests is the type of game we would expect to run on this device, League of Legends. These types of older or low graphic game is the best way to experience gaming on this bad boy. 1080p resolution, all settings maxed out to very high, we averaged 200 FPS with 1% lows of 115. So before writing off the 125H completely, please hear me out. Should someone buy a computer like this if they are interested in mostly AAA games? Well, probably not. But lately, for me, all I've been playing is TFT, Get to Work, and PSO Affinia. All 3 amazing games that actually do run on hardware like this laptop perfectly. Not to mention emulation all the way up to GameCube, PlayStation 2, and probably beyond. Older AAA games like Mass Effect 3, Dead Space, and BioShock all would play on this just fine. And of course, esports titles like Valorant, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike 2 all work just fine on it. So while this laptop might not be your next gaming laptop, if you own a device like this for work or school, well, now you know what kind of performance you can expect. Thanks to the channel members for supporting the channel. My name's Jason. Thanks for watching.